The stars at night are big and bright. Deep in the heart of Texas.
Hello, darling. We're in Austin, Texas, and look, check this out. This could have been us. Nicole Perlman could have been us, you see.
We had a son who was trampled by a ton of longhorns.
We're at the Extended Stay America, which is like the festival's official hotel of choice. The Driscoll is another hotel where all of the registration is taking place. It's where we're going to pick up our badges. The badges allow us to get into like all kinds of cool screenwriting conferences, and also pick up advance tickets for like our guests that are going to come to our screening on Sunday and Tuesday night. Right afterwards, there's an Emerson professor who I actually had. He was a screenwriting professor that Jeff and I had when Jeff wrote the short version of Having Fun Up There. So it's kind of poetically, he has come out here with a group of students to see the screenwriting conferences. And when they heard that we had a film in the festival, they were like, we got to get together and screen the movie for the students, right? He's introducing them to Peter Gould, who was one of the head writers on Breaking Bad. It was one of America's favorite shows, let's face it, folks. So we're going to meet him in like an hour. Well, I know that like I'm picking up all 10 tickets in one.
Yes.
And she, yeah. I've sent in the photos for all 3 of them.
I bring the picture. How are you?
Chloe, can you move over a seat?
I would love to.
No, you can sit here. Yeah, my wife Nora here was pregnant, and we had no money. And one of the things that we thought about was, what happens if one of the people you work with gets caught if you're doing a criminal enterprise, and that was kind of where Saul Goodman emerged. It's a golden period. I've never seen it like. It's been like this for films a couple of times, where suddenly there was a reason that people wanted to make moderate budget, interesting indie films. Whenever one of those like Swingers got made, everyone would want to make one of those. And it's just the stupidest Horatio Alger bullshit things you could want to hear, but it's true. It's having a good attitude. It's being there. It's doing the extra little bit of work. Those things all make a huge difference. And you may think that people notice. And I guess in Zen they call it beginner's mind. You're always a beginner. I've known people who made a big script sale, or who one project kind of catapulted them into the business. But a lot of the time, doing the great work kind of leads to the next opportunity, and you have to be. I feel like dealing with disappointment was a big part of it. That sounds really negative.
No, but I mean, often you think the writing's going to sell you. But it doesn't, and you have to sell yourself.
It does. It's tricky because they want a script, but they're also looking for a person.
What's happening, Frankie?
We wanted to check out where we were screening, which is the Rollins Theater, presented by Chipotle Mexican Restaurants.
What is this beautiful?
Hey, how are you?
Beautiful cityscape.
Oh, it's gorgeous.
Is that the only time that poster is going to get any play? Oh, that's too bad. So they'll be on the day of, right? That's the plan. Okay, all right. He didn't seem very happy with me. I heard it was like $100 worth of printing posters and postcards, and I would expect that the posters would be up somewhere. They're like, yeah, we'll hang your posters, but they only do it on the day of, like as a decoration for the screening. And I said, so that's not really a marketing tool; it's just a decoration for the screening, right? And his answer was, quite rude. Do yourself a favor. Don't print any posters. It's a complete waste of time.
It's never worth it.
It's never worked out. Do postcards, though. Postcards are cheap, and they actually use them as a marketing tool. The posters, they're like, we can't hang it during other people's screenings. There are other posters for other screenings there that aren't screening until next week. You got some vegan pancakes?
Vegan pancakes. What kind of pancakes did you get?
Peanut butter, Nutella, chocolate, and banana.
Jeff made it out to Austin.
Wandering around the parking lot somewhere we found it.
What is the thing you're going to?
It's the crowdfunding event.
I'm going to go with you, and then from there, I'm going to figure out where the Austin Club is, and I will know when I have to.
All right, that sounds good. My mom, hi there. We are in Charlotte right now, and we'll board our connecting flight to Austin at 1 p.m. We will arrive at 3 p.m. How's everything going?
This is her day one. It's our day two. We've already.
How excited my parents are about. They've been waiting for years for me to do something, even though I've tried. So it's like I felt that way about when we had the screening at the Brattle and at the Middle East. Like, it's not that I haven't
made stuff. It's just that none of it's really been recognized. So yeah, they're happy for me because they think I'm a nice guy and they want to.
I haven't. This is by far the biggest festival I've ever been part of.
He tweets something like, "Are you a fan of Vigalando's Time Crimes? It inspired our short hashtag time signature." So he didn't create a new handle for his film, particularly because this was a short. He created a hashtag so you could actually sort of create a conversation around it across social media platforms. Script chat is kind of like a bat signal. If you're stuck in writing and you tweet something, hashtag script chat, there are a lot of other procrastinating screenwriters who are out there ready to engage you on Twitter. You can do it on your own, but it involves being a filmmaker entrepreneur. Like, I didn't get to go to investors as the CEO of Seed and Spark and say, but you know, really I'm just a filmmaker, I'm not really good at the business stuff. Because nobody would invest in me. And we should never expect for people, audiences or otherwise, to invest time or money in us if we're not willing to do the work that really respects that investment.
Yesterday we did a dick thing. A postcard in this diorama. But it stayed there all night. And it's still there.
Guerrilla marketing. That's what we learned about this morning.
This is Kung Fu Saloon. It's a big game of Space Invaders that we have to try and eat food during. It's happening, and we're just gonna have to eat our mozzarella sticks and drink our beer. Pac-Man's gonna be the waiter.
What am I looking at here? This is a Mario Kart game no one has ever played before. It's not really like Nintendo to release proprietary arcade games.
No, it's not. Well, there's also Pac-Man in it.
Whoa. Okay, this is skipping my shit.
Oh, wow!
That's what happened to me. You're going the wrong way.
Yeah, turn around.
Look at Costume Party April.
Look at how not badass the Shredder is. He's in like a great
Ready? Holy moly.
Oh my god.
Oh my god.
This is stuff.
Yeah, she said 20 hours.
And the chickens they put on this morning, they're getting close to coming off.
Whoa.
And then they've got turkeys they put on this morning, and I think they've got some more.
Look at
their ribs.
The big
These are all the briskets, yeah. And then the turkey breast.
What do you have to say about that?
There's another style in this area they call cowboy cooking, which they run hotter fires and they actually burn down post oak, which is the wood we use. Because it's native to this region and it replenishes quickly. Like they can constantly.
Right.
Do you have somebody like manning your pits all night, or do you just do it and then lock it up and come back in the morning?
Yes, we do.
Nina mans my pits all night. Whoa.
Buffy the Vampire Slayer. It's the episode after Angel becomes evil again, and he's gonna kill the witch who was trying to create a spell to bring his soul back for Buffy. Because now that he's evil, he doesn't want to be good again.
This is where we're screening on Tuesday. We're gonna drop off some cards. More cards, more cards. I'm gonna work this line. It's the corridor from The Shining. You want to take a picture of me on the bike?
Yeah.
Oh, you mean like wild?
Addition and subtraction 2. So I thought this was all educational because we had addition and subtraction 2, beginning grammar, but then look, there's hangman, and then I realized this is kind of educational because you played this when you had a sub or some kind of a Christmas or Halloween party in school. maybe the day before Thanksgiving on a half day. And you know what word you use for hangman? Cucumber. Throws everyone off. Too many C's, too many U's, it's a mess.
The white ring.
Yes, captured by the trees. The figure. Right.
They're here to help. Please, for an educational opportunity.
You go.
How was your run?
It was excellent.
We went right. That's what you do on vacation when you go for a run. You go right or you go left. And you just go to the time. We did 4 miles. Well, 3 miles of running, 1 mile of walking. So this morning we're going to go over to my former film professor's hotel, and we're going to screen the movie for his group of students. And hopefully they won't think I'm a big douchebag that's wasting their time at their precious festival visit, because they do have lots of other awesome things to do. They have industry professionals to me, and I'm not one of them. But maybe they'll be interested in how a guy made a low-budget movie. But tonight's the big screening, the first big screening, where Kyle, Hannah will be there, Hannah's family, my parents, Nina, of course, Jeff, Bonica's wife, all kinds of people. And the festival uses like a little scheduling app to see who's so people can schedule themselves for different events. And right now we have 41 people just on the website alone that say they're going to go, and that's outside of our group. So we're thinking at least 50. And if it's 50, who the hell can argue with that? Let's compare it to Seattle or Buffalo for a second. We're optimistic. And the Tuesday screening says 25. So I'm also kind of hoping that our littering of the city with postcards will account for at least a few more people. It's 65 minutes, and let's, without further ado. Yeah, it's not production value, it's acting. If as soon as you're watching another one of these independent amateur films with bad acting, you're just out of it. You just don't want to.
Can't suspend.
Don't want to watch the damn thing.
Exactly, that's exactly it. It's basically breaking the fourth wall. You might as well be staring directly at the camera. It's like bad acting and bad audio.
Jeff was actually doing script supervising, which I've never done on any of my films before. Script supervising is so important, it turns out. because you're so, as a director, you're so focused on the integrity of the shot, the performance moment. Ooh, you kind of flubbed there. You're so focused on so many things that if they break away from the dialogue for like you've all probably shot movies before, and you know that like sometimes actors will forget and skip an entire section or an entire line or something, and the scene makes zero sense, and you find that out in the editing room.
And it's like horrible.
And maybe some takes they did it right, but most takes they did it wrong, and it's just a disaster. Or even just you rephrased it in such a way that now the scene makes no sense.
First of all, writers are usually not there, right? I was extremely lucky to be there on set for all 9 days, and we worked on this, for a year together just in pre-production. So usually you don't get that that experience of being a writer and being then an integral part of production. It's not like this gigantic cruise ship that takes 90 minutes to make a 90-degree turn. You can just kind of pick things up.
Diversify your camera setups as much as possible. Get as many setups as you possibly can. By setups, I mean like this shot, this shot, this shot.
Mitchie, Janelle, Connor, and Lee, you are now my favorite students for coming. If I can do anything for you, write you recommendations, help you find jobs, I'm committed to you for life.
Oh, right on. I don't know what that is and what that means, but I'm sure it beats slinging coffee.
Hannah and Kyle. We need press for this movie. At least it would be very useful to be in like a local newspaper or get a review or something so that people will go to the screen, right? So Jeff emailed with like a press release, like 10 different publications, and none of them responded. So we went to the festival. Okay, we meet up with this one. I call her and say, "Where are you?" She's like, "I'm on the second floor." We're over by the press room where we think maybe we're going to be doing it in the press room. And she's like, well, actually, hang on. Let me come down there. Let me see if I can book the press room, because I really want you to feel the full experience. I'm like, I don't need to sit in a fucking press room. But first, can you tell me who you are and what this movie is? She has no idea. She hasn't seen the trailer.
She's acting like she's doing us a favor. She's acting like she's doing us a favor by having us wait until 2 o'clock to sit in a special room.
About being dreamers.
Yeah.
Being interviewed about being dreamers.
Which is not what this is about.
But you want to make it big. You're dreamers.
Yeah,
you got passion.
Which is sort of
It was amazing.
antithetical to everything I've been saying thus far today that we've done, where it's like, no, we have other jobs and we don't expect to make it big, and our movie is about the very true nature of this, that you will not make it big, and she wants to interview us about dreaming and daring to be big.
And I was like, no, I'm not. I dream low, I dream often.
And you had a very hard time keeping that off your face.
Yeah, she kept calling us new filmmakers. You know, the new filmmakers, they really like this because...
That's an idea. When we're interviewed, we act like we've never touched a camera before. This was actually the first time we've ever even tried.
Seen a film.
No, you know what? I think instead of lying, we should just be completely honest, because that's going to fuck up our entire narrative anyway. You're dreamers. No, this is actually an anti-dream movie. This is about don't fucking dream.
This is about your mop on the floor at the bar.
This is about your. Oh well, but that message in and of itself. No. I just told you the message. It's very sort of cruel of you with your sleep privilege to come in here and tell me about dreaming when I can't fucking do that.
It's not part of my culture.
Well, so is that the strategy? Is the strategy to be as perfectly honest as possible? I should be like, well, like for instance, you saw the trailer a half hour ago.
Yeah. Oh.
Should we start every question with, well, once you've seen the movie?
Yeah.
We'd have to see the movie. I don't know.
Acting like...
The film kind of speaks for itself. We got nothing to do for a half hour.
Exactly.
All right, sounds great. Bye. That was the press person from the festival being like, oh, did you connect with Joanne? Because she was just here saying that she needed the press room.
I don't want to do this.
Why don't you?
Because we're already doing it.
It'll be done in a half hour.
Yeah.
From now.
It's already, the day's already like pouring on. And
He's Joanne Outley here at the Austin Film Festival, sitting down with some wonderful filmmakers, writers, and actresses. We're talking about having fun up there. The movie that is debuting tonight at the Austin Film Festival. I'm going to let it go and start introducing everyone. Next to me is Frankie.
Frankie Frame, director of the movie.
Okay.
I'm Hannah Carpenter. I'm an actress in the movie.
And
I am Jeff Trelli, and I wrote the movie along with Frankie.
I saw the trailer for this movie and I fell in love with it right away. When new filmmakers come in, it's always a great thing here in Austin. We embrace them. We want to get their work out there.
It's very unlikely that you'll achieve commercial success, so your decision, are you going to be a full-time dreamer your whole life?
I'll be a full-time dreamer.
And you start to cross your fingers that when you edit it, it's going to be the thing you wanted it to be in the first place. And by that point, you've kind of lost your perspective. You have too much perspective.
Yeah, too much perspective.
It really puts perspective on things, doesn't it? Not too much. There's too much fucking perspective now.
And
I get to you next. Okay.
And we got into one festival, and that was a hellhole. That no one showed up to.
You start wondering, because, is the script actually good after your first two kind of festivals, and, there's that fine line between clever and stupid. And
It's such a fine line between stupid and clever.
Yeah. So once you have it and you're excited for your screen, you got to say, tonight we're going to rock it. Tonight we're going to rock it. Absolutely.
Well, because you're basically going to go to war with each other for night.
And you're going to have extremes on set. You're going to have fire and ice, and sometimes you have to be that lukewarm water.
I'm lukewarm water.
Yeah.
It's like fire and ice, basically. You see, I feel my role in the band is to be kind of in the middle of that, kind of like lukewarm water.
Frankie's the fire, Jeff can be the ice.
And so
it's a niche film. You find that your audience is getting very selective. So you may not sell as many tickets as you want, but you have that kind of selective audience.
Yeah. I just think that that their appeal is becoming more selective.
So tonight it debuts, your movie debuts tonight, so what are you hoping to get tonight from the viewers?
We hope there won't be a dry seat in the house.
Yeah, there you go. Excellent. Absolutely.
So when you leave Austin, where do you go next?
We're going to be full-time dreamers.
If you could not play rock and roll, what would you do? I'd be a full-time dreamer.
Last year, I interviewed some new filmmakers coming on, and we dubbed that show the Dreammaker Show.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I guess if everything falls apart tonight, we will cry all the way home.
And I'm gonna cry all the way home.
this is going to be a wrap for us. I'm going to your movie tonight.
Oh, fantastic.
I'm going tonight, and so I'm going to hop on at the radio tomorrow at 96.7 somewhere so I can give people a little bit of something about the movie. So having fun up there.
Having fun up there at the Rollins tonight at 9 p.m.
Let's do it.
Let's go.
Okay.
Let's rock it.
Okay. Let's rock it.
We got 10 free passes. Who gets the passes?
Let's see. It would be me, Dad, Kyle, Anna, Anna's parents, Jeff's
Not Jeff.
Not Jeff.
Jeff has a badge.
Right.
Anna's brother.
Anna's brother and Jeff's 3 friends.
You got it.
I got all 10.
Dory, Nori, Ori, Differ, Bolfer, Bomber, Loin, Oin. We're currently the only ones in line. Hopefully that's not a...
Hopefully it's And we're not even in line. The line is over there.
The line system is designed to cause stress. There's a badge line so that anybody that stands in the badge line gets first priority at seatage. So this theater holds 250 people or something like that. If 251 people with badges show up, the last one doesn't get in, and then nobody else gets in. Then it moves to the film pass people. That's what my mom has. If we got 50 people, we'd be lucky out of the 250 venue. So I think that they should just can all the rules just for our screening and just let everybody in. Open up all these ropes. There's no need.
These ropes are chains.
Exactly 8:17, and the screening's at 9:30, so we still have time. I have to say, Austin's been an excellent city. We're enjoying ourselves immensely.
Did you have a burrito?
I had a burrito and the sampler of everything Mexican. The theater is great. I mean, it looks really nice, the screen. I can't wait to see Having Fun up there because I think that's going to be a highlight of the whole thing that we're doing.
Whether anyone comes or not.
It doesn't matter because I'm here.
We're having fun down here in Austin, Texas.
Yeah.
They just brought in all the badge folks, but we weren't among them.
All 5 of them. It's going a lot worse right now.
Hey, we're here in Austin to have a fantastic time, and I'm happy that anybody showed up, honestly. I'm happy that we're here. I'm happy that Nina's here. I'm happy Frankie's here.
Bonica's here.
Bonica's here. I'm in a good mood.
Mom and Dad in the very front. And another one of these late turnouts.
Through the heavens I'll follow wherever you go.
All right, everyone, thank you for coming out. Right now, I'd like to bring up Frank, the director of the film, as well as Jeff Truly, the writer. And I believe they're going to invite a couple other people up to the stage with us.
Yeah, so, hi everybody. I'd like to invite up 2 folks. Cinematographer, Kyle Gage. And Kelly, the Berkeley girl, Hannah Carpenter.
Thanks for being out here, guys.
I wrote it and Frankie directed it, and Frankie says that I wrote a movie about music and he directed a movie about movies. So it's sort of about art in general.
Yeah, I think that we all have a tendency to kind of define ourselves as what we get paid to do. Where I don't get paid to make movies, but I am a filmmaker. That's very much a part of my identity. And sometimes people kind of roll their eyes at that sort of thing. But it might be kind of a very American notion. That you would be an accountant during the day and write poetry at nighttime or something like that. So we wanted to make something that really celebrated that idea and send a character through that kind of journey where he makes a little bit of peace with the idea that, like, I can mop the floor at nighttime and still record a song.
We watched a lot of movies that were similar in that there were people down their luck, there were people who were having a hard time, like The Wrestler, stuff like that. Frankie referenced the American movie a lot. People were really trying to do something with their lives, but at the same time meeting the challenge of living.
I'm friends with a lot of people who will be Mark Kessel in 15 years.
But you have a story about a musician, but we never see him perform.
Sure you do. A lot of the plot is off camera. The story, hopefully, is exactly what's on camera and what needs to be there.
I want to open it up to the floor. Does anybody out here have any questions for our talented filmmakers?
Are we out of people we don't know?
I don't know him.
Hey, cool. You got a whole floor then.
I really enjoyed the film. Thanks, say that first
Thank
of all. I've seen a lot more expensive films that I didn't enjoy.
What's a cheap film?
But I was looking at the venues and I felt like I had been there in Austin here, and I was wondering, but if you could talk about the venues, that would be great.
Yeah, sure. All of it was in Boston, but I'm glad that it's something that has a little bit of universal appeal. I think we only mentioned the fact that we're in New England like once. I think about that when I was in the back. Maybe I can lie to these people and say we're in Austin.
So at the end of the story, Mark is kind of left off, mopping floors and at least curbing his dreams of becoming a big-time musician. And I think in some ways that can be viewed as, a more optimistic look where he's learned his lesson and, he's gone back with his girlfriend, but at the same time, the girlfriend is not the most faithful. So I was just wondering, maybe Jeff would be best or Frankie, what's the takeoff from Mark?
He's very, very big character arcs, and sometimes there's these ones that just exist internally. So internally, for me, what Mark has learned is that if one or two people are listening out there, then maybe that's good enough. I do think that Mark is destined to make the same mistakes a lot. I recorded a lot of albums that no one has ever heard. And I remember once when, a band that had been defunct for a year, someone sent me a link on YouTube, and there's this 14-year-old in Colorado, who I obviously had never met, doing an acoustic version of the first track on a record I recorded 2 years ago. And I had absolutely no idea how he got a hold of that record, but I was shocked how much that meant to me. I was just like, this is awesome,
I think actually it's a feeling of kind of relief and a feeling of, like, when you make peace with your own, I think he kind of makes peace with the fact that he's an unchanging entity, and he can either have a hang up about that and be freaked out about that, or he can be like, I'm probably stuck this way for a long time, it's probably my personality, and if I kind of let go of some of these things that are bugging me, so yeah, it's almost like kind of a Buddhist thing or something.
The makeup, there's symbolism or something like with the story. Yeah,
No. As soon as you kind of step onto a set or a location, you're immediately building in business or reasons to move or reasons to build motion into the scene. So we kind of had very quickly, in order to make our day, figure out what actions they were going to take place. And if they're there, what are they doing? Are they buying something? Are they out to eat? What are they doing? And when we kind of figured out that she could, well, okay, maybe she's getting like this stupid kind of Halloween makeup. It's around it's like October. And then when they kind of lapse into this emotional and kind of bummed out argument with one another, she's stuck in this stupid makeup. And it's like when you go out to have fun, and then it goes belly up and you're stuck in fun mode.
It kind of rekindled some memories of some really awful jobs I had. So I want to have each person on the panel admit to the oddest or worst job you've ever had.
Vending sheet metal in a factory, where I worked with a bunch of people who absolutely hated me because I was going to college at the time. And they used to, but the best part about that job, even though it was kind of an overall job, is there's one guy who's about 300 pounds who would come in every Monday and start telling these like elaborate penthouse letter stories that everyone knew was completely fake, but they would completely egg him on. And I didn't know this at first, so he'd come in and start, let me tell you guys about what fucking happened this weekend. And everyone's like, yeah, man, like, tell us about it. And it's fake, listen to him. So we tell them, so then her sister comes over, and like, it was pretty hilarious. But other than that, that job was pretty bad. That, or when I was painting houses with a guy who was a ex-alcoholic, ex-gambling addict, but that was all he would talk about. And so it was so obvious that these were the best days of his life, but he was reformed now. So he'd like sit for half hour. And then we were in Vegas, man, and I won like $500 and got 2 hookers, and I drank at least a gallon of it, but I'm glad that that's over now. And I'm glad, and yeah, so once I went into the van there to get some putty to seal up some wood we were working on, and he was defecating in a bucket. Which is not where you want to find your boss. And then he threw a hammer at my head and called me something I shan't repeat now.
We shan't work together again.
I busted at like a really lofty seafood place, and I went home smelling like fish badge every night. And that's what we do on these trips.
They both work for Frankie, so be the
Yeah, we both work for Frankie. I'm cinematographer, so I do cinematography gigs, and one time I was a cinematographer at a Mexican gangbang for a weird porno shoot, and I didn't know what it was until I got there. They never really they just said we need a guy with a camera, and I went, okay. It was well paid, but it was really weird. So, yeah.
Sometimes to pursue your art, you gotta take gigs.
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever had a job that I hated. I bagged groceries for like 2 months and then I quit because that sucked the most. But I worked at a snack bar at a softball or a baseball field, like a little league field. But that was a lot of fun because you could just eat snacks and like the only bad part was the parents.
I was like the guy in the movie who plays Dakota, like the shitty boss.
Oh yeah, he's my boss.
He's playing himself.
Yeah.
He's a really nice guy, but not really.
He's cut out for that kind of job.
Thank you guys for coming out and bringing us a wonderful time. Thanks.
Chipotle gift card.
Oh, I want that.
Yeah.
Everyone's voting for us. Frankie, can you manage my voting for me?
Sure, I'll vote for you.
It definitely went up. We fought hard, and it's here. Looks pretty good too. God damn.
Yeah, that's sour.
Yeah, that's fine.
Anyway,
I'm not a business owner.
I had absolutely nothing in your film to relate to. I think it's like, Jeff's like, oh yeah, cool, man.
I'm doing a story about a guy shitting in a bucket.
Well, it was durable. I try to look on the bright side of things. And then he wandered into the sun. I think he was like, you don't look beaten up enough about the crowd. I'm gonna kick you in the balls 3 more times.
I didn't know y'all were there. I did photograph when you were.
Why are we even voting for this movie? We don't. It's just like cross country in high school. There's when your team isn't big enough, you can't win.
Jon Stewart's movie's gonna win. We know this already.
Are we competing with Jon Stewart? Come on.
No, terrible. It's like shit. I went home so depressed. I was so profoundly sad. Nina was like, you gotta kind of like give back a little, right? We should probably go to other people's independent films. We start thumbing through all the other selections. Like every single one of them has like cast members from SNL or something Al Pacino related, or like they all had names in them pretty much. And I don't blame people for not going. I wouldn't have gone either. You have no idea whether or not that movie's any good. But it was just, I found it so depressing that like I spent 2 months getting deliverables to these people, and like every day it was something just for like a screening that could basically take place in a classroom or something. But I was like feeling like giving up filmmaking, like enough of this shit.
No, it's ridiculous. I mean, we talk all the time about how we don't care whether anyone sees it. It's about making the art. That's what the movie is about.
I know.
So making the art has to be enough.
I know.
If no one shows up, we have to be okay with that.
Yeah, I don't know, but I work so hard on these things at a certain point I have to start asking, is it enough? Like, I don't know.
Well, regardless of how many people showed up, you get to say now that you were in the Austin Film Festival, and that's a big deal. It's kind of like being published. It doesn't matter how much you sold, how many books you sold. If you were published, that's a big deal. We went downtown afterwards. The city is dead at 10 o'clock.
When the hell did they schedule us
The
then?
bars had people out on the street begging you to go.
Yeah.
Once people watch it, they like it, but I can't get anyone to try it. I can't get anyone to, and it.
Well, that's why people put celebrity, like SNL writers and Jon Stewart and Al Pacino in there.
I feel like 10 years ago, there was so much more interest.
Yeah, because it was harder.
Yeah.
Woman did not show
did
up.
you even know?
Didn't show up.
She was like, I will be at the screening tonight. Like, it was a big unveiling of the thing that's going to happen.
Yeah.
The amount of shit that you have to eat when you're trying to make anything happen for your movie is, it's so, you put so much in for such little yield. It's like those terrible orange juicers. You just like put a bag of oranges in it and you're gonna drop.
But we can still have a good time. That's what I take away from it.
This little bitch. You see? Nina, launch the nukes.
Ladies and gentlemen, the people coming
The round office.
The slightly ellipsoid room.
Do you think the real one has this track lighting?
I like that footstool. So your feet don't fall off the end, apparently.
Delicious.
Barton Fink.
Corn dog.
It's too hot to eat.
Too hot to eat.
One of your favorite foods
Not
on
too
this
hot to
planet?
eat. Yes. Spaghetti, corn dog, pizza. No, Thanksgiving.
Do you have a history with corn dogs? Like,
I used to only eat these at Applebee's when we would go to Applebee's.
Okay, so my iPhone 5, I've had to really wiggle the connector to get it to charge, and it's gotten to the point now where like I've had to really like screw it in and then like hope that it starts charging, right? So we found a place in walking distance called like Mobile Phone Geeks or something like that. Like everybody here, he's very nice, and he's like, "What's the problem?" I tell him, and he goes, "Let me see what I can do." And he takes the phone back, and he comes back maybe 2 minutes later.
Yeah,
and he goes,
we hear a can of compressed air.
Yeah,
But I don't know what else happened back
and he
there.
goes, "You're all set." And I go, "You mean it's fixed? If I plugged it in right now, it would work?" He goes, "Yeah." And I go, "What'd you do? I got to ask you, what'd you clean it with?" And he goes, "I'm not telling you. It's really easy to screw up, but just bring it back if it happens again." And I'm like, "All right." He obviously wants to kind of corner the market on this. What do I owe you? Nothing. Go ahead. It was easy. This man has a business to run, right? But that's the story of Austin, Texas that we've experienced so far. Everybody is crazy nice. Not like Midwestern nice where everybody's like, "Oh, hi, hey, oh." But
They're
really,
just not suspicious of you. They don't go into every interaction assuming that they just want to get out of it.
I'm going to say one more thing that's I observed about Austin, Texas. Where we're from, the East Coast, everything is all, like if you order a drink at a restaurant, it comes with a straw. If you order like a fast food soda or something, it comes with a lid and a straw. I've been to definitely a number of restaurants by now where, it's like a glass of water, you just drink it. It's like a glass of milk, you just drink it. I went to like a hot dog stand today, asked for a soda. It was one of those fast food cups. It comes with no lid, no straw, and I'm looking around for one. There's none to be found. It's just like, just drink it from the cup.
Well,
So,
maybe people are drinking more fluids more constantly and they got to put them down fast.
tell me, if you're from this area, tell me whether or not I'm wrong. I'm ready.
No, don't like film me.
What's that?
I will walk back to the hotel.
What kind of pie you got?
I have a Maine pumpkin pie. And what did you get?
Blueberry cheesecake. Vegan.
It's iced coffee, but there's like local made almond milk in it, so there's like pieces of almonds.
And?
Yep, it tastes like the fall.
And it's tomorrow, 7:30 at the Hideout.
Oh, I'm excited.
Every 15 minutes for the entire festival. He's like hardcore networker.
So we're going out to Taylor, Texas, which is like an hour in some direction away from Austin, where our very good friend and friend to the Red Cow universe, Emily Brinkmeyer, lives. She has 3 daughters. The oldest one is 9, and I think it has expressed some interest in movies in general and movie making to some degree, even though it has a lot of adult language and stuff, and there might be some waiting around. I threw it out there to Emily, like, hey, maybe Andy wants to go.
Yeah, because I went in there to see if I could.
After they got chocolate all over them. So I was borrowing a pair of Broderick pants.
Maybe if we go in the back, let's try that.
We're looking for a tooth.
I mean, it might be down here. Well, it should be down here.
58.
I know.
58. We're not going anywhere until it's done. So.
Hey, Gray. Gray, where'd you go?
It looks like a giant sloth of some kind. You're not going anywhere. You're not going anywhere.
I'll have shrimp and fried rice. Shrimp in a plain in a bowl.
I don't think they do that.
That's right.
Shitty birdhouse.
Just one notch louder.
And do you know what art is?
Can you jump to about 18 minutes? Who's that?
That's you. Yeah, that's you. That's you.
Andy, you were in charge of the tech check. How'd it go?
Good.
Good? You could hear everything and see everything?
Yes.
We're pushing it. It's a film we want everyone to see.
Oh, thank you so much.
Yeah.
Harrison here actually was he's the
Double high
program.
five. Double high five.
Double high five. He's the program coordinator.
You're gonna fist bump?
Yeah, fist bump. Come on.
Okay, high five and then a fist bump.
Yeah, high five. 2
double.
high fives and then 2 fist bumps. Have you ever had a friend who had a movie in a movie theater?
No.
What about Gray?
No.
Hopefully it won't just be us. But it's in God's hands now.
I really want to be in the next movie, and I want to be the main character.
Well, what would it be about?
About how I'm so smart and I get these magical powers.
What are the powers? Like healing power, adamantium, the ability to throw
Wing
flaming
powers,
card.
I can fly.
So you can fly, and what else?
With dragon wings, red dragon wings. And I can have a horn like a unicorn to lift stuff up, and I have the power to turn invisible.
Invisibility, flyability, with wings. Something about a unicorn at one point.
And I can turn into a pony.
what kind of radioactive accident had to happen. Yeah, I have a writer.
And
You should meet him tonight. You should really talk to him, feel him out, give him your card, and just promise him that you're going to be in touch with him. He's going to be here tonight. He has curly hair. You're going to want to say hi. Don't ask him about the film. Ask him about himself, you know? Andy here is like, can I bring a book? It's going to suck.
And
Hey! Thanks very much for coming, everybody. I know how hard it is to come out to a movie that has no recognizable names, a plot that might not be entertaining at all, but thank you for taking a risk on us. We're really proud of this movie. We shot this movie in 9 days for about... We've been saying $5,000, but we really have no clue what the budget was. Very low. The movie didn't cost a nickel. We shot it out in Boston, Mass. We've flown out from Boston, Mass. This is my 4th feature film, and we hope that it connects with kind of an Austin crowd. We've been told it does. It's about a musician down on his luck, so maybe you know somebody like that. It's 65 minutes. Right afterwards, I think we're gonna, like, just that awkward period where the credits are like, do I leave, do I stay? We're gonna cut it off after like 10 seconds of credits, and then we're gonna jump up here and take your questions. All right, so thanks so much for coming out. I hope you enjoy the movie. The short script ended where the first act of this movie ends, where he decides, I'm not going to apply for school, I'm going to go to the show. And that was kind of, I remember a lot of people were giving you shit over like, that can't be where a movie ends. And we were like, oh, let's take it even let's dig them even deeper and make it a feature.
Well, and yeah, I actually took that short script to, it wasn't a festival, it was a convention of educators and, people who were, from Hollywood, and I had to submit it in front of a bunch of people. And to a person, they said, it has to have a lot happier ending, and I just said, that's not the point of the movie at all. But they just kept telling me, and I said, okay, well, I'm not really going to change it. And so we didn't, and then when Frankie and I were working on trying to make it in a full length, I really liked Frankie's first note, which was, after I told him that everyone wanted me to make it a lot happier, he said, no, like, let's see how much more we can fuck with this character. Like, let's get to the end of the first act when he's, making this decision where, great, my art is more important than going to school. And then we get in the second act and he's just like, well, that fucking sucked. And he's having a terrible act and his band is breaking up.
That's what set us on our path of conversation after conversation and about a year-long script writing process before a 9-day shoot. It's like when you live on minimum wage for long enough, you start to get like a science down for poverty. Filmmaking is kind of like that. Low budget filmmaking is kind of like that too. You start to get kind of a micro budget system down.
God, I mean, my writing would have sunk without John, and there's tons of lines that I look back on and think that wasn't a very good line, and John completely saves it.
You always described him as your good, very good friend that you can't defend.
Yeah, I mean, in terms of, let's say, I think a lot of us have like a friend that you've known forever, and maybe you're introducing them to someone who you're new friends with, and they meet him, they're like, he's kind of a dick. And you're, yeah, Mark, but he's a really good guy, and you kind of have to try to defend him. Near new people. Voice. Yeah, exactly. That's the exact voice.
So I'll tell you what, the first person who asks a question, I'll give you a copy of the book. This details it's called More Weight, The Making of Having Fun Up There and Other Filmmaking Tales. It tells you exactly how we did this movie, for better or worse.
How's it showing in Boston? Have you shown it around a lot?
We showed it at first at the Buffalo Niagara Independent Film Festival, which turned out to, I don't think I can legally call it a scam. We got surprised and we ended up getting booked at the Massachusetts Independent Film Festival, which screens at the Brattle, which is like a really big repertory theater. Do you know Brattle?
We're from Boston.
Oh, excellent.
God, yeah. So we ended up, that festival awarded us Best Writing, Best New England Film, and John Ryan was nominated for Best Actor. So that was a big, big win for us. Yeah, thank you. We would have given both those awards away for John Ryan to win that.
Yeah, I think he deserves it more than anything. He made the movie.
Even the turnouts for this festival, I mean, it's a lot easier to kind of take a risk on like a documentary, right? It's about a subject. So you're like, okay. But this is our biggest turnout for Austin, so thank you so much.
Yes, thank you very, very, very much.
Thanks, guys. Oh, you got a book, too.
I just wanted to, since it's obviously all about, a musician and his struggles, what was the process in terms of determining how much, live sound you guys are going to use?
The first time we ever see Mark in his element is when he's rehearsing with his band. And it was really important to me that was live. That you saw warts and all, and you hear any flub notes, all the bands I see on TV and everything. even when they're rehearsing, it's smooth as silk and everything is mixed. And if you've ever been in a band, that's not what it sounds like at all.
What was your run time in the end?
65.
Poster.
Have you, can you tell us any, problems you've experienced on submitting on the festival circuit?
It does seem kind of like a sore thumb, like, isn't that the wrong amount of time? My experience so far is that's the least of our worries. The biggest worry is getting it watched, getting it liked, having somebody believe in it. I mean, Austin's a pretty big festival. Somebody believed in the movie. I've failed hard enough with 90-minute movies.
Yeah, there you go.
To not care. You know, I'm gonna call it right now because everybody's watching everything on like a streaming platform. I think you're gonna see, and people are getting tired of long movies. I think you're gonna see 65, 70-minute movies a lot more often. I called it. Copyright Frankie French. You guys are awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much for coming out. We appreciate it.
Another round of applause for Jeff Torelli and Frankie Rain. Thanks for coming out, folks.
It's never gonna this is a great encouragement.
Good.
Are you
make the movie? I mean, you already know this, but make the movie you want to. And
I have a little card. It's got George Lucas's picture on it. It's one time I made fun of him on there. So the screening went really well last night. Got home and a few people wanted to buy copies of the DVD, and I don't want to bring them on the plane anyway, so I said, okay, I'll ship them out today. Looking around for a post office, I start walking down the street. They're setting up for some kind of pandemonium. It's all sponsored by Infinity. That's all I see all over the place.
Demonstration is about to happen. So an experience.
What's your favorite? Side boob?
I'm liking some side boob. I feel like this girl's face the best.
Oh my god, no.
She had a big smile.
Oh, hi. You wanna capture this face? This dirt eating face?
Where are you on this board?
I'm right here.
So this is like a thing you do. You do a lot of skee ball.
Oh yeah, but it's become a part of my life. It's a fun group of people.
You have skeezins?
Skeezins and a ski-EO. Ski to shining ski.
You hear that? That is pouring rain in Austin, Texas. It's so sad I was leaving tomorrow morning that they just had to cry. Alright, well, it's all over. I'm here in Philly getting a chair massage because I got nothing better to do in my connecting flight. And all in all, I would say the trip was well worth doing. Shortly after that bad screening, I got a YouTube message from a guy who I guess was inspired to make a short film because of one of my cartoons. And the message said, thanks for doing everything you do. Keep creating new content, films, podcasts, cartoons. Mostly cartoons. He's a fan of the cartoons. Because it really inspires a lot of us. I hope he's not just talking for himself, because that's exactly why I continue doing this shit. It's insanely fulfilling to hear that anybody else is enabled by the nonsense that we do. I'm really, really shaking in this massage chair. Sorry for the long vlog.